Hey guys, this is GG Your Face, and I'll be talking about game number 1 between Fenix and qxc. This is game number 1 of the finals in the Intel Extremes Masters that is currently taking place in New York City. Fenix is playing as the red Terran at the 12 o'clock position, and qxc is playing as the blue Terran at the 3 o'clock position. Both these players are not strangers to tournaments or finals, so this should be a great matchup, and expect a lot of good games to come your way. Both players are opening with barracks, but qxc is scouting a little bit early to see if his opponent is at the closest position at the 6 o'clock position, but he will not see Fenix there. So qxc decided to scout early, and it looks like it might not pay off. There's one refinery going up for both players at the same time, and qxc has discovered that Fenix is not at the 6 o'clock location. I really wanted to go to the Java Center this weekend to watch these games live, but it was my problem that I did not buy the tickets for monies, so I did not go. In any event, both players are grabbing and finishing up their barracks at the moment, and their SCVs will meet at the 9 o'clock position, and both of them, actually qxc will know where Fenix is, but Fenix still doesn't know where qxc is, and qxc is going to make his ways inside the base of Fenix, and Fenix's orbital command along with the orbital command of qxc is about 50%, 60%, 80% finish, and the Marine will be able to deter that one SCV from qxc, and he will be able to prevent any more scouting. qxc could waste a scan on it, but I don't think he wants to at this point. One refinery has recently gone up for Fenix, and qxc has not yet gotten his refinery, so we do see a little bit of the build deviation between these two players. Factory going down for qxc a little bit earlier than the factory is going down for Fenix. I would assume a factory is coming. A tech lab has been attached to the barracks, and we do see one Reaper is going to come out and go to the high yield. It is rally to the high yield point, and there's one Marine harassing one SCV from Fenix at the lower right hand side of the map. There's a couple of Marines scattered across the map for qxc, across his base, and the second refinery is finally about to go up, and Fenix actually had an advantage in terms of gas for quite a while now, and he's also building a supply depot in the back of his map. And qxc will be able to take down that SCV that was just scouting for Fenix, and Fenix is thinking about attacking with his Reaper or trying to do some early harassment. The factory is about to finish for Fenix, and the factory is already complete, and he's attaching a tech lab for qxc. qxc is in the blue, Fenix is in the red. Once again, Terran versus Terran can be a little bit confusing in terms of the colors and stuffs. Fenix is going to come back to the south side of the base, and I think qxc is going to try to defend from this one Reaper, because Reaper can do a little bit of damage, especially if it goes unchecked and unnoticed. Both players are producing siege tanks at the moment, and Fenix is actually making a starport, and this Reaper might not do too much. He actually doesn't actually take down anything. The Marines do take it down before it does any damage. qxc is sending his SCV across the map, and there's a reactor being attached to the barracks at the moment, and this SCV will go down as well. The starport's about to be finished, and the starport's also about to be finished for both players. Siege tanks coming out, additional Marines. If we take a look at the unit count, both players have tanks, but qxc does have a couple more Marines, whereas Fenix has one Marauder. A Viking is on the way for Fenix. I think he wants to maybe push for qxc. Push is coming from qxc, going to the middle of the map. He might be able to take down the SCV at the middle and take control of the Zona Watchtower, and Fenix will know that a march is coming with a lot of units, and he does have enough to deal with it. He does have 2 siege tanks of his own, neither finishing up the siege tank just yet, the siege tech for their siege tanks, and we do see a Viking coming across, maybe trying to snipe off. 2 Vikings engage, and the Viking for Fenix has fire first, so he should be able to take it down, and both actually go down simultaneously. So I guess the missiles do stay alive, while the origin of the missiles do not. Fenix thinking about moving out here, and qxc thinking about pushing in. Both players engaging with about the same number of Marines and tanks. Both players, a couple of SCVs are going to come out to try to uneven those odds. He's going to send out one SCV to scout out the positioning of qxc. qxc is actually backing away to the south, and we see a Banshee coming out for qxc, as well as Siege Tech, and Siege Tech is not been completed and is not being researched by Fenix at this moment. Fenix is going to have one SCV. This is sort of like a cheap observer, a 50 minerals observer that is not invisible, but you can get some sort of information if you just have it stand stationary somewhere in the map. I think at the moment qxc is a little bit supply block, and that might be problematic. And qxc is coming in. He did get one SCV kill with this Banshee. 2 SCV kills right now. His Marines are not in the right position. His Marines actually dropping inside the base, so while that Banshee is racking up kills, Fenix is going to try to drop, but he is deterred by those couple of Marines, and this Banshee doesn't have any Marines to harass, and now the medevac has come back for Fenix and has already gotten 6 kills, so I think a slight lead for qxc in terms of harassment, and it does make it out alive with only 20 HP. Very, very nice play there by both players, harassing each other at the same exact moment. But I think qxc did get a slight advantage from that one. If we take a look at the unit count, we see 23 SCVs for Fenix and 30 SCVs for qxc. So slight lead for qxc, and there's a Viking trying to hunt down that Banshee that went northeast, and he will not find him there as the Banshee has returned to base and will probably get repaired up. 2 additional, 1 barrack going up as well as a command center going up for qxc, whereas Fenix's command center is about to be complete. We might see another engagement here or not. A medevac full of Marines being dropped off at the center. I think qxc expects this, and he might be able to try to get vision on it, and he just out of range. This Banshee does have vision of what's going on. He's going to shoot that Marauder. Marines are being dropped off. He does pick up the Marauder, and he's going to try to lure these Marines into his tank fire, but that won't work because I think Fenix did spot those tanks over there. A lot of tanks for Fenix still upgraded for their siege tanks, and some Marines being dropped off on the corner. Very, very effective use of the Marines and the medevac by Fenix in this game, harassing all over the map. And there's one Viking that will probably be able to take this down. There's one siege tank. Ooh, these Marines are running the siege tank fire, and he shouldn't really pick up these Marines, and he doesn't. And that is a good play, even though he had to sacrifice his medevac. He really had no choice there. Cloak is being researched for Fenix for his Banshees, and there's a couple of Marines running around the map, maybe checking out for the scouting SCVs. There's still 2 siege tanks near the middle of the map of the high yield for qxc. qxc coming to the side, and Fenix coming as well. Both Banshees meet each other. They can't shoot each other, but they just know that each other's there. So I think that would deter, or that does not actually deter qxc from coming in and trying to do some additional harassment. And there's a Viking coming around, and he will be able to shoot down that Banshee unless it cloaks, and that's if he doesn't have energy. He's gonna let it die without even cloaking. And at the same time, there was a little battle over here, a little scuffle. The 2 tanks were siege, did catch a little bit of the Marines out of position, and this one Banshee from Fenix will be able to deter those 2 tanks that are not guarded by Marines, and they will force him to fall back. Just the right unit mix for both players. We do see +1 weapons for Fenix for his infantry, and qxc is getting a couple of missile turrets, whereas Fenix already has those missile turrets in place. And now moving into tank fire, not very good. Ooh, he actually raged on the min statue there for 1 volley. And this Banshee is going to come in and try to take down this tank, and I think a scan go off, and he's going to lose that Viking. And there's 1 Banshee here harassing the Marines, and that SCV, it only took down 1 Marine and 1 SCV, but it does force a scan. A scan goes off, allowing these tanks to have vision of the base of qxc, and they're firing on it, and he doesn't have anything. qxc doesn't have anything to fight these tanks because he doesn't really have vision of it. He's trying to get vision with his Vikings, but there's a couple of Marines preventing the Vikings from coming in. And it looks like qxc is trying to repair the base, and Fenix once again doesn't have range to hit it because he doesn't have vision of it, and he scans once again. He does have vision of it right now. Siege tank out just outside the range of Fenix's siege tanks, so that will prevent him from moving up. A couple of siege tanks fighting a siege tank over here. That should take it down no problem. Both players still trying to hold on to each other's command centers. Fenix is going to be able to isolate qxc's tank on the side and does destroy it. There's still 3 tanks siege outside the natural expansion, and 1 Banshee is going to come over. There's only 1 Marine here. If he kills off this Marine, the Marine was on hold position, so he does kill it off, and he's going to be able to maybe take down 1 or 2 tanks, or maybe even all 3. there is a Viking coming over from Fenix to try to protect his tanks as they're retreating, and qxc is gonna take down 2 tanks with that 1 Banshee. Very, very nice there. And Fenix is gonna try to take down this 1 Banshee. Is this 1 Banshee trying to take down the 1 tank? It's like rock, paper, scissors. And who's gonna win? And he's gonna take down the tank, and he's gonna lose the Banshee. I think he could have cloaked there. He did have enough energy. If we take a look at the unit count, both players are not that even at the moment. Fenix doesn't have that many units. He lost quite a few from that 1 Banshee. He has mainly Marines, 3 tanks, 1 Marauder, 1 Viking, whereas qxc looks like he has a slight lead. If we took a look at the income tab, both players relatively the same at the moment. A scan does go off, and we see a Banshee coming to the back of the base of Fenix from qxc, and he does have a missile turret in place, so the cloak wouldn't really play a huge part, and he can't really harass over there, and he's going to try to kick some SCVs over here. Got 1 kill. Command center is floating off in the distance. A couple of medevacs and a couple of Marines will prevent this from doing too much damage, and this 1 Banshee still inside or near the base of Fenix, and Fenix is going to try to chase it with the Marine. The Marines are getting dropped off at the back of the base where the minerals are. At this point, Fenix has gotten his 2nd expansion at the upper left hand position, whereas qxc feels relatively safe, and he has just recently started to build his command center. I think Fenix at this point does have a slight lead in terms of upgrades. He has 1-0 upgrade, whereas qxc has 0-0 upgrades. And we see 1 Marine falling there to a lot of units. And qxc will see it coming. There is a couple of Vikings on the side from qxc, as well as a medevac with some infantry units to the back of the base. And I think qxc will have to fall back here. At the same time, Fenix is also falling back. He's dropping off in the back of the base of Fenix. He's coming in, and there is already a couple of Marines waiting for him. These Vikings need to land and engage, and they do land. This Viking is awfully low on HP, and he does take down the medevac. These troops are stranded inside the base, and they're fighting off this Marines. They're trying to decide to pick off the supply depot. All those Marines, I think they made the wrong choice there, and they only took down a supply depot, while the Marines were actually taking down most of the units for qxc. qxc disengaging there, but he's dropping off a couple of Marines and medevac inside the base. He's going to take down the missile turret and try to allow his Banshees to harass, and he's going to haul ass out of there, and he does make it out on time with only 40 HP to spare, and this medevac is just flying around trying to distract Fenix. And Fenix is going to try to siege up once again and prevent qxc from taking the expansion. Medevac from qxc is going to get shot down. Ooh, he lost a couple of units inside there. And right now these tanks are going to try to push in. There's 6 tanks versus 2 tanks, and these tanks will be within the firing range of the other tanks. Tanks are sieging up, the Vikings are coming, and scans are going off to make sure they have vision of each other. And wow, a lot of these SCVs are going to die. A lot of these SCVs died off about, whoa, that is complete SCV destruction. He should not have ran those SCVs into those tanks, I think. And right now, none of these tanks are within the other tank's vision, but this tank is very, very low on HP, and the main base of qxc is already completely mined out. Additional reinforcements coming in for Fenix, but a couple of Vikings have landed for qxc. He will be able to barely take down that tank. Very, very low HP on both of these Vikings, and they're raging on a... Ooh, they're actually hitting that Marauder that was located over there. 2 tanks sieging up, and these units are going to charge in here and take 1 shot. Ooh, 2 volley of shots will end the life of those tanks. And Fenix taking a commanding lead inside, charging inside the base of qxc. qxc lost simply way too many SCVs, I think, and he lost a lot of his units. SCV scrambling to repair the command center, and I think these are his last 2 Marauders and 2 more Marines, and qxc is actually GG out of the game. Hope you guys enjoyed game number 1, game number 2, 3, and so on will be coming your way shortly. If you like what you see, please subscribe. Later.